what is the importance of dry stone walling around Chatsworth Estate?
We live in dry stone walling country in this part of Derbyshire. Nearly all the enclosures are made of dry stone walls. A bit further south you have hedges. So for us the dry stone walls are really important as field boundaries, and they look lovely, but that's not their main purpose. Their main purpose is to divide the land into areas for farming.
Originally, what do you think your forefathers had in mind to have these walls built?
The enclosure of the open countryside started in the 17th century, and for the next 150 years that continued in different parts of the county at different times. So they were built over a couple of hundred years, and of course they have to be rebuilt because the animals, particularly cattle, push them over, frost pushes them over, trees fall on them, so they're continually being rebuilt, and there's very few which are exactly the same as they were 200 years ago, but that's when it started.
Who would have built these walls?
Mostly it would be the farmers, but they would have probably used labourers. In those days farming was much more labour intensive than it is now. There were no machines, of course. They would have had people who became skilled at dry stone walling to help them build the walls. But every farmer then, as now in this part of the country, knows how to repair and to build a new stone wall. Some are better at it than others.
Originally, what would have your forefathers had in mind to have these walls built?
They were, as I said, to enclose the land so that it would be for one farmer. Beforehand, a lot of the land was used for several different people in a community. The walls established ownership boundaries. They enclosed the land so that stock would be kept safe inside a wall, and also some walls were built because the fields were very stony. There's a lot of, so they picked the stone off the fields to make it better for growing grass or whatever, and instead of just piling up the stone, they made them into walls. So, but the main reason was to delineate ownership of land.
Can you share with us your views about the future of dry stone walling?
I think that dry stone walling is now having a resurgence. People understand how difficult it is, and they admire the skill of dry stone walling. It's still very necessary from a purely agricultural point of view. There are additional benefits as well as for farming, because they make very good microclimates for microenvironments, for lichen particularly. There's several different lichen on this wall, and this wall's only been up for 10 months. So, and it's a good habitat for small mammals and some birds. So there is a good environmental reason for them. But I think that dry stone walling has a good future. I think that people understand how important it is, and as I say, nearly all farmers here know how to make walls, so it's not going to go away. And an awful lot of old walls have been rebuilt under the hire stewardship scheme funded by the government, which has been incredibly helpful for farmers throughout Derbyshire.
Having watched the film If Walls Could Talk, can you share with us what you thought of the film?
It's beautifully made, it's very, very interesting, and I loved watching it, and I look forward to watching it again. But I think the really exciting thing is that it explains to people who don't understand, and why should they, because they haven't been explained, about how important dry stone walling is, how difficult it is, how skillful it is. It is something that those of us like me who've been brought up with walls around us, if you like, take rather for granted. And the film explains that we mustn't take it for granted, that it is a special skill, that it needs nurturing and celebrating and respecting, and I think it's wonderful.